We had the honor of recording an interview with cigar legend Jasim Ahmed from his apartment in Dubai. And prior to posting this video, I had the opportunity to meet with him in Dubai at the Fairmount on the Palm. And I just wanted to express a heartfelt thank you for his incredible kindness and generosity. Knowing his schedule is incredibly busy, he afforded us the opportunity of spending several hours in the evening with him, sharing cigars, sharing stories, and just the most incredible knowledge and expertise that he has. It's an honor to have him on our podcast, and we know that if you have any interest in the world of cigars, this one is for you. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions, the Cigar Lifestyle Edition. So welcome to Coffee and Conversations with Champions, Jasim Ahmed, and definitely a champion because you're an award-winning cigar connoisseur and one of the pillars of the community. Can you give us a little bit of background as to who you are? Who is Jasim?
To start with, thank you very much, Nicola, for making me part of this great show. And I'm
Thank
so
you.
honored and humbled to be part of this show. And I'm so happy that today I'm able to speak to you and spend some quality time talking about cigars in the community and what cigar mean to the community where we live in, and spread the nicer things about cigars and its lifestyle to the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
My name is Jasim Ahmed. I live in United Arab Emirates, and I was born here, raised in very far away country from UAE, India. Came back working in the industry of cigars coincidentally, and I wasn't looking for an industry where I could work with. It was just a case that I entered in the industry as a coincidence,
Right.
and that was 20 years back. And I never looked back from the day one I joined the company, as well as the industry and the society that I have indulged in. And my journey was very unique and different from the rest of the people I see every day, because they knew what cigar was and they were looking for it and they searched for it and they entered the industry. My case was completely different. I was just a young guy, very healthy in the stereotypical way. Why I said this, because back at the time I was a model,
Mm-hmm.
and I was against tobacco, I was against alcohol, I was against everything which people call it against our health.
Yes.
And tobacco was one of those, cigarette mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And when I entered the industry, I did not smoke anything. I did not drink any alcohol either. So slowly by time, I started to educate myself, because I was a newbie, a rookie, and I did not know anything about this beautiful lifestyle of cigars. And I started to untie and learn more and more in-depth knowledge about what cigar mean to people, society, and what is tobacco itself, and how do
Right.
they produce it, and what kind of feelings you can get from different cigars at different times, with a different connected pairings. It could be music, it could be a great friendship, it could be a great beverage, great food. So with all these things put together, it could be a wonderful experience and a memorable experience. And I did not know all these elements exist before that time I entered the industry. And for me, it was a great journey, and I'm continuously in this journey. And I was honored to receive an award from Habanos, Cuba, for the honorary lifetime achievement, I call it. It is known as Hombre Habano,
Mm.
Premio de Habano, for the category of communication, because Hombre Habano is in three different categories. One is production, that goes mostly to the people who are in the industry where they farm, they produce, they roll, these kind of elements in the production. So mostly it's for Cubans. And the second part is business, where we call it negocio, and that is for the people who are excellent in terms of how this product have reached to many, many hands in the world in terms of value and business and excellence. And the third part is communication. And that's a category that I won in 2023 for your work and your passion to develop the cigar culture and cigar education to the rest of the world.
Right.
And when I received the award, that I was asking in-depth questions to Habanos, that what was the constraints that you nominated me, and they have mentioned that it's beautifully due to the social media, because now the communication back in the time was different. The Habanos Hombre Habano since long years ago. So this is the 24th year of festival. So there were 24 years past for
Right.
all the activities. So nearly, not in the first year they had the Hombre Habano, but there was only one category, and later it was extended to 3 categories. So we're talking about more than 60 personalities, over the years, more than 60 different personalities who won this prestigious award. And all these people, they give something back to the community and society and cigars. So I asked them, why, what is that reason? And then these guys back in the time for the communication, they were working with books. They write books about cigars. For example, if you know the one of the watch enthusiasts and the president of the World Watch Association, Nicholas. So I call Nick Fuchs, Nick Fuchs, and he's a Hombre Habano in 2007, if I'm not wrong, and he received this great honorary award for his contribution to the world of cigars by writing a book, and then that book reached a certain level and it became very popular. So
Right.
today the things have changed. Social media is a new book,
Yes.
because literally everybody is in social media. So my social media work in terms of Instagram as well as rest of social media, that connected me with this great award. So
Right.
my message to all my friends out there is, since we are in a modern level of communication, which is social media, and cigars being part of it, you have a great level of learning experience from the social media today. And like me, there are many other channel partners who work with social media, developing this culture. Many people use it as a sales aspect, but we are not talking about sales. That goes without saying, I guess. This is all about culture. It's all about rituals. It's all about etiquette. It's all about health. It's all
Yes.
about the perfect experience you have every day for you, yourself, and it's a lifestyle which we cannot eliminate, and a lot of people did not know about it. So we are developing it as much as we can. You are developing it, Nicholas, and then I'm honored to speak about it. This window what we have today for coffee. This is not a coffee time for UAE,
Yep.
but I will have water. But then later I will have a coffee with you. All right,
Fantastic.
so that's me. I'm still in the industry. I just came back from Cuba for the 24th Habanos Festival. It was just 2 weeks back, and wonderful and great feel to be in Cuba again. I wonder, and many things to share. So I wait for your questions to go further,
To go
and I'm
forward.
ready
Fantastic.
for all your questions.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. I wanted to ask you, what do cigars mean to you?
I'm smoking a Paul Larrañaga Monte Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
And when you ask me this question, what cigar mean to you? So before I pick this cigar, it depends on many details before I choose a cigar for an occasion. And it's time, it's the strength of the cigar, which kind of ambient experience you have, and what are you doing at that moment, and many things as a part of this. For me, cigar is the time you give it to yourself.
Yes.
For me, cigar is I put it in simple words. Cigars are emotional to me sometimes, because cigars make me think, cigars give me feelings, cigars make me feel a paradise way of looking at things, cigars make me calm, cigars make me relaxed, Cigars make me meditate.
Yes.
Cigars make me develop new ideas. Cigars make me great friendship. Cigars make me feel good. Cigars make me sleep well.
Right.
Cigars make me write a book. Cigars are everything when it comes to that enjoyment. If you enjoy it the right way, the right path, the right
Hmm.
way of doing it, as I call it, lifestyle, cigars are everything you can connect with. Um, People may think that why, wow, cigars can do that. Yes, cigars can do that. In Cuba, after a lot of years me being traveling to Cuba, I learned this in the hard way by
Hmm.
communicating to the people who are from Pinar, uh, mostly from Pinar because they are the people who are really producing the tobacco. The cigars have an energy they believe in. So an
Hmm.
energy which is connected with tobacco that induces you to a different level of enjoyment as well as relaxation. And every time when they talk about cigars and they smoke cigars and they give you the culture and education of cigars, they often talk about the energy which is connected with tobacco. So
Right.
for me, I believe that there is it is sometimes when people say scientifically what energy, the
Mm.
energy what you get from the vibe that you get from the cigars that can change many things in you. And I believe that change is very positive. So in a simple word, I would say that cigars are something which you cannot live part with. Cigars are part of your lifestyle, and
Yes.
cigars helps you to attain your goals. I'm not talking about in business aspect, but then mentally be focused and see what you want to do to your life and how do you like to do it and what are the things you should follow. It gives you your time to think, to develop, to execute the
Right.
right thing with this beautiful time that you give it to the cigar journey. It could be that you probably smoke one cigar or two or three cigars a day, but that is the time that you give it to yourself. That is a
Right.
me time, and you take out from everything else, your business, your daily stress life. Let's say if you have one stressful life, then you take out all these elements. So you sit back, have your wonderful cigar, and you think, you feel better, and you meditate. So I know that it's a simple question you asked me, but it's a complex answer.
No,
Cigars are everything to me.
and it's not such a simple question because I think it's a very important question because of the profound impact that cigars can have on one's life. And you spoke about meditation. If one reads various business books or listens to business podcasts, the one trend that runs through that is leaders commit to meditation on a daily basis, and it's a commitment of time, and we give all of our time to so many things. We don't always give enough time to ourselves, and this is a wonderful way to do it. As well as, can we chat a little bit about sort of the community and the social aspect of smoking together? What does that mean to you?
See, I often smoke cigars with people
Mm.
because, especially because I'm in the industry and I had the possibility of connecting with different community, sort of have a good time with them talking about cigars,
Hmm.
and they have so many questions when they meet me. What about that cigar? What about this cigar? What do you think about the right pairing? How about this cigar developing by time? Do you think it's the right time to smoke those? There are so many questions about each selection and linear and speciality. So the community where we are in the cigar smokers, it's it's one of the greatest society where you don't have stereotypes in there. For
Yes.
instance, no one judge no one, no race, no color, no magical money background, uh, no beauty. Nothing matters to the cigar lovers. They sit together, 10 people, smoking different variety of cigars, sometimes from different countries, and they just enjoy that moment. One a common factor that we all are cigar smokers,
Yes.
without any barriers, without any political barriers, without any erase barriers, without any economical and social
Hmm.
barriers. We sit there, enjoy in a community for the love and passion for cigars. And I
Yes.
have not seen that in many, many communities. There are similar society in the wine world. I've seen a part of it. It's good, but still there
Mm.
is a differences in here and there. Whiskey community is there as well. There is watch community. There are car communities. There are people who are, gathering for a particular reason as a business aspect. As a non-monetary, a hobby, if you want to call it. I don't call it a hobby. I call it a lifestyle. But many people consider cigar as a hobby.
Hmm.
So nothing wrong in it. It's just the way they look at it. It's very personal. And for me, it is a lifestyle. Mm, this particular hobby, so-called hobby in their language, that makes them feel a right human. Sometimes we think too much. Sometimes we,
Yes.
because of the stress what we take in everyday life, we may make the other people feel bad by over the course of time. But when it's a cigar community, because everybody is looking for one goal only, just one goal when you smoke a cigar, that is positivity. No
Yes.
one talks bad about somebody or rumors and gossiping and so on. It's all about positivity. Every time I gather for cigar in a community, whatever community, it could be in Italy with my Italian friends, it could be in
Hmm.
Cuba with my Cuban friends, it could be UAE with my Emirati local friends, wherever it is. Only one thing I've noticed and witnessed is positivity. There
Right.
is a lot of positive vibe about it. Probably for an outsider who does not smoke cigars, at times it could be boring because we talk a lot about cigars, okay? So but
Absolutely.
then
Yep.
the next time they come back and ask me, Yasin, I wanted to come tomorrow, and what cigars do you think that I should bring? Then I tell him, no, 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 you don't bring any cigar. I'm gonna give you a cigar,
Oh,
because I wanted to make make him feel better without
yes.
having a problem of choosing what to buy, where to get it, and etc. etc. And I'm a little bit greedy in here. I wanted to I wanted him to remember me, thinking that
Right.
I'm the guy who gave the first cigar of my life, right? Because it's going to be a journey for him for the rest of his life. So I
That's
want to claim
fantastic.
that it is me that I gave you the first cigar.
Right.
It's a great honor. It's a great honor.
And you have those people all over the world.
Absolutely, because of now. Oh, I think
Mm.
it could be correct, because
Mm.
20 years back it was different, because
Hmm.
what social media have done to the world is that you connect with people every day. Look at us.
Yes.
You are in South Africa and I'm in Dubai, and we are able to communicate, talk, and share,
Yes.
and beautifully exchange a great time. Now, back in the time, it wasn't possible. There was things like this at that time too, but it was difficult. You literally have to take a flight and go, and it was different back in the time. Today, it's easier.
Yes.
I still believe in the old school way. However, I love to meet people in person, sit with them, smoke a cigar, spend quality time with them. If my time allows, I do travel to different countries, and
Hmm.
I enjoy the time with them. I really want to feel the energy behind it. There are certain things that we miss when you do remotely a cigar smoking spree, is the energy what comes with it.
Hmm.
I have the energy what it comes from the tobacco, but I want to feel your positive energy to me as well, and vice versa. And that comes only when you meet people person to person. And this is why the communities are very important. We do cigar events every 2 weeks, every
Right.
week sometimes. Now it's Ramadan, so we don't gather for a cigar event, but then we
Mm.
gather for iftar or a suhoor.
Okay.
Ramadan time is all about family and friends, and
Yes.
people gather a lot more than usual. So we connect cigar with it after the iftar time is over, and the suhoor is over. Everybody enjoy with a wonderful cigar. So it's a time to reflect, and a little bit of spirituality and great positivity, great energy.
Yeah.
So that's cigar community to me. It's all about positivity.
The thing that I've noticed about the cigar community is when people go out, they never just take one cigar for themselves. They'll always bring two or three that there's a spare to gift to someone and to enjoy a smoke with them. And that it's such a giving community.
It's really funny. Before I was late for this meeting for
Hmm.
your viewers to know. Okay, so what happened is I was having an online meeting with Bosque. It's a it's a cigar pouch, and I was talking to the brand owner because they have this beautiful pouch from Paris.
Hmm.
It's made with exotic leather. Some of them,
Okay.
all of them are calf leather, but then they also have exotic leathers like crocodile and ostrich and many alligator. So when we were talking about this, I asked him a question that do you have travel humidors? Do you have the cigar case which you can handle 5 or 10 cigars? And he told me that we are developing something like this because at the moment we only have 2 and 3 and 1.
Right.
So I give him an idea that because he do smoke cigars, but then he already have a mold of making cigars for 2 and 3 and 1. So today, what happens? No one want to go out with 2 cigars.
Hmm.
They go with 10 cigars.
Yes.
First, it's a product of sharing. Second, sometimes they are changing their idea of what to smoke. They go out
Hmm.
and they come with a light bodied cigar, a medium bodied cigar, a full bodied cigar, and different variety, different length, different time zones because they probably smoke a Churchill or a double Corona, depends on the time and etc. A Robusto. So they look at the cigar. They wanted to see everything in front of them, the choices of at least 5 to 10, and then they can choose the right product, and they can share the same cigars or different cigars to others. Often they give the best cigar to the others, then they
Yes.
smoke. I'm not saying that every cigar is amazing,
Right.
but they may prefer to give something so special and limited and rare to your friend. Probably he's meeting for the first time, I don't know, but we always share the best of what you have. And this sharing, I did not see in many places, many
Mm.
other communities. No one share me, no one shared these kind of things. If you look at it, it is crazy, right? No one shared me a watch. I don't know
Yes.
why, but
No, no one's given you a date. No one said, "Here, take my Daytona."
take my Daytona, wear it. No,
Yep.
a cigar. When you look at it, oh no, cigars and watches, they're two different
Mm.
things
Yes.
because watches are, let's say, $10,000 and cigars are just $100. But let me put it straight.
Mm.
There are some cigars for some people that's more valuable than watches because they're keeping it for 20 years, a
Yep.
vintage, rare, diplomatic edition, and that's more worthy than the watch. You can't even find it.
Yes.
So they are ready to give it. I was gifted a Cohiba 1979 cellophane
Sure.
original blend of Lancero. And without any motivation, this gentleman just, Jasim, did you smoke the Lancero from the beginning? I said, I tried a 1968 one. And then he said, have you tried the 70s? Let me give you one. And then,
Wow.
that cigar costs like, I don't know, $3,000, $4,000. And it's like,
Yes.
here it is. I don't see that in other industry. You know, uh, it's
What
very rare. It's very rare.
what do you think it is within the cigar community that there is this generosity and this want to share and share the enjoyment?
So if you don't share a cigar, you are not a cigar aficionado.
Yeah.
You are just a cigar smoker.
Yeah.
And I personally think that there is a huge difference between a cigar smoker and a cigar aficionado. I'm
Hmm.
making a new video for this. I'm
Fantastic.
preparing a new program on the difference between a cigar smoker and cigar aficionado. So the people who share, the people who are generous, and the people who wanted to give the same feeling what you feel,
Mm.
to share the experience of that beautiful cigar, which he's not able to get it. And that only happens with the cigar aficionados who wanted to share more and more and make the other person feel better than you by
Yes.
giving something which you have and you nurtured for so many years sometimes, or you managed to get a particular box. If it is not sharing for him or her, it's not a cigar experience. And there is a common rule in the cigar world, and you will know this for sure, but for the
Hmm.
viewers, when you share a particular cigar, first of all, you don't say no to it. And
Yeah.
second, you often give another cigar back to the person who give it, aficionados. Why would they
Yes.
do that? Is making the other person feel better, sharing what you have, sometimes more, so that that person can enjoy. I often get this question, Jasim, did you smoke this cigar? Sometimes it happens from a original edition perspective, a original edition from so and so country. Sometimes it's
Yes.
very difficult for us to put our hands on. So the other day, the gentleman commented to me, Jasim, did you try this cigar? Is it from China? Is it original edition from China? And I said, no, I did not try this. I tried the other one. And he said, you got to try this one. I tried many and I love it. And I wanted to hear your feedback on it. And I want to know, what do you think about it?
Right.
And for them, sharing that means a lot. And believe it or not, we will never forget that person, right? Because there is a kind of friendship we created without even knowing. We
Yes.
become a very strong friend because we share a cigar. And we will never forget that. It's an experience which is in your brain forever. And I believe that the people who are sharing it, this is what they are referring to, sharing the best you have and make the other person feel better. And there
Right.
is nothing more than that, than, you share a cigar together. I have a different practice of sharing. So whenever I get a cigar from someone, and when I'm smoking another cigar, because it often
Yes.
comes that we are smoking a cigar and suddenly somebody comes and, hey, Justin, how are you doing? Here is a cigar for me. I would love to give you this one. But I can't smoke that cigar at that time because I'm
Mm-hmm.
already smoking one. And maybe I will not even smoke that cigar after that cigar, because I also have to think about the cigars, what I'm smoking, what kind of strength, and how long time. I really have to enjoy the cigar to the utmost level. So I
Yes.
tell him that I'm gonna smoke this cigar later, but I make sure I smoke the cigar with him. So I tell him that we have a date now.
Ah,
We're gonna smoke.
fantastic.
You want to give it to me with you, and that makes that memory more powerful. And I'm happy that I can still meet the person, because if I'm traveling to a different country, then I'm
Mm.
not able to meet them. It's difficult. But
Yes.
however, I tend to smoke the cigar what is gifted to me, with the person who gifted to me, and enjoying a good company and a quality time.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I think, as you said, it's you're also gifting your time to that person, which is our most valuable asset. Can you tell us a little bit
Yes.
about what you're smoking now?
So this is I call it delicious,
Mm-hmm.
because this is the cigar name. Like everybody knows, in the cigar world, you have commercial name and factory name.
Right.
So this is a cigar from a very old brand, Por La Reñaga, uh, one of the oldest brands. We don't have many cigars in the portfolio as a selection today. You only have a Por La Reñaga Monte Carlos, then you have a Por La Reñaga Petit Coronas, and a Por La Reñaga Galanes. So
Okay.
these are the three cigars which is in the portfolio at the moment. Back in the time, it used to be a lot. Also, we have the Por La Reñaga Picadores, but it's not considered as standard production, but it is still in production.
Right.
So this is one of the most thinnest cigar. It is a 33 ring size, and the
Wow.
factory name of this cigar is
Mm-hmm.
Deliciosos.
Mm-hmm.
So I call it delicious. It's a light-bodied cigar. It's thinner than a Lancero. The Lancero is a 38. A Fundadores is a 40. So this is a 33, and this gives me a vibe, a feel that it's lighter, and I have to pay attention to this cigar. If I
Right.
don't puff often, she get upset and she goes off because it's not a big cigar, right? Okay,
Right. And
so
it is a
this kind
living
of cigar,
thing. Yeah, you got to look
yeah,
after it.
I often say
Mm.
this: cigars are like fine women. You got
Yep.
to pay attention when you go out. You go out for dinner. You
Yep.
don't take your eyes off from your lady.
Yes.
You make sure that you give enough attention. You hold hands. You talk to them in an easy, and that's the same way cigars have to feel. You see, I'm talking to you. She's
Yep.
jealous. So, so I'm
Absolutely.
smoking a light-bodied cigar.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful Cuban cigar from a brand from many years ago, but this cigar is released in early 2000. It's not a
Right.
very old blend, and one of the best cigar I tried, and very difficult to get these days
Mm-hmm.
because probably the Lanceros or the sizes which is thinner in range,
Mm-hmm.
is these days are very lower in production and higher in demand. So there is a trend going back to the world of cigars. Back in the time, it was the fat boys, Robusto
Yes.
and Geniales and double Robustos. Now the trend is changing. It has both. People still do smoke big cigars. However, the trend of Lancero is back.
Okay.
109s, Lancero, Lonsdales, 898. The trend is back, and you will see a lot of people who are interested and trying to put your hands on a wonderful Lanceros and Lonsdales. And the portfolio, you don't have many. If you look into the Lancero, you only have one or two. You have a Cohiba Lancero, you have a Monte Cristo Especial, and then you have Fundadores. Then something in between the Panatella and the Lancero, there are two. One is a Especiales, we call it Legito number 2, which is a
Okay.
38 ring size, but it's shorter.
Okay.
And another one is this. And this is a one-off size. You don't have a repeated size of this cigar, a Deliciosos, in the standard production. So for me, it's a very unique cigar, underrated. And my close friends tells me, Jasim, you promoted Por La Reñaga, I kill you, because this is a wonderful cigar which we wanted to put our hands on, and then
Yes.
because many of my friends, they love it, and they're like, don't promote it, please, don't promote it, please. Let one cigar for us.
Yeah. I think that's a challenge in what you do and within the community you're in, because when there's a limited run or there's limited availability, I was like, don't share the information too much.
That's there, especially for products like this. For
Yes.
the rest of the products are fine. A new product comes in, there is a urge of promotion because people have to know about it. But then
Yes.
a product which is already been there but is limited in production, you often have a possibility of everybody go to the cigar store and they jump in and say that this guy is smoking that cigar. It should be good. Come on, do you have this cigar? And then if you haven't, they take it. And
Right.
it's a good cigar. It's a wonderful cigar.
Fantastic. I think if you were to chat to people that were new to cigars, that were looking at coming into cigars, because there's the different sizes, the different strengths relate to the time of day, maybe after a meal, before a meal, on the golf course perhaps, or sitting with friends. It can be a little bit intimidating for people to sort of, okay, what do I do? It's wonderful when someone is gifting them a cigar, but you don't really want their first experience to be, with many people, I think it is a cigar from a gas station that they get at a bachelor party or at a party. So how does one start? How does one get into cigars?
So there is always a mentor in the cigar
Mm,
world, except for the guys, the young boys who are stealing from their father, because
yes.
this story is very vibrant. I stole, this is a common story among many of my friends. I stole a cigar from my father for my, for what they call it after the school, they have a big party.
Oh, your
What they call it,
graduation.
I forgot the term.
Yep.
Not the graduation, before
Mm,
that in school, when they are like 16, 17 years old. It's not a
okay.
graduation party. The
Uh,
prime, what they
uh,
call it,
or the
the
dance, like your sort of in South
yeah,
Africa we call it a trick dance. So where,
yeah.
yeah,
So you go out with your date or your
date,
last day
yes,
of school, and then you act like you are the macho man,
yeah.
and
I
so
think they call it the prom. The prom.
the
That's it.
prom
Yeah.
night. So every prom night, I think the boys, they steal from their father. So
Yes.
there is no mentor. Often they steal the big cigar, like a Romeo
Yeah.
and Juliet Churchill or a Cohiba Splendido, and then they try to smoke it and they inhale it, and then
Yeah.
they're like, oh my god, this is too heavy. So normally it does not work that way, right? Because you always have a mentor. These days the fathers, they are a little bit clever than back in the time. Back
Mm-hmm.
in the time, the fathers, they don't want to share the cigar, probably some fathers, but
Mm-hmm.
today the father, they know that they're going to do it anyway.
Yes.
So let me teach him. So he teaches him when he was 16, 15, whatever the age it is, to educate slowly the cigar. What you should try is like this. You don't inhale it. You light it
Mm-hmm.
slowly, you cut it, and you use the proper cutters, and these are the ways of etiquette to do it. So there is always a mentor. If your father, much better, because you
Yes.
have time, going to spend, and you're going to share your experience and cigars. So if you are talking about as a newbie entering to this industry and lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
You should always listen to people who are professionals. I call them cigar sommeliers.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the cigar sommeliers working in the cigar lounges, they are efficient. They have trained for it. They have experience sharing the cigars and selling the cigars to many people. And also the cigar stores in town. The reputed cigar stores from La Casa de Habano, Habano
Yes.
Specialist, Cohiba Atmosphere. So these people are trained to give you the right information. Depends on the occasion, depends on your palate, depends on the beverages you enjoy, and depends on your age. And sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to smoke a strong cigar as your first experience. Then you will run away from the cigar
Yes.
experience, because if it's all about how it can indulge you, how it can connect with you. So if you smoke a wrong cigar as a first experience, you think, oh my God, cigars are not good.
Yeah.
So you have to always get the right cigar. And I wanted to share the experience of choosing a cigar. You often choose a light bodied cigar. This is
Mm-hmm.
a common rule, because the light bodied cigar will not overpower your palate, and it gives you a very pleasant, easy experience as your
Mm-hmm.
first experience. So people often refer to a Hoyo de Monterrey cigar,
Mm-hmm.
a lighter bodied cigar, and you develop from there. In the end, cigar smokers, cigar lovers, cigar aficionados, they are going to smoke all kind of cigars on a daily basis. They will smoke a light-bodied cigar, they will smoke a medium-bodied cigar, and full-bodied cigar. Depends on the day and the time and the
Mm-hmm.
occasion. So in the end, they're going to end up in all the spectrum.
Right.
However, in the beginning, you should limit yourself to develop your palate. Now, developing your palate is a pure experience and little bit of understanding of who you are
Mm-hmm.
in terms of taste and flavor. I created a new YouTube video about how to develop a palate. Being a young newbie, new guy coming to the cigar world, helping them to understand the flavors in the cigar. Because often when you
Yes.
smoke a cigar, people think, okay, this is only nicotine.
Mm.
You only get a tobacco taste. You only get this. But this is more than that. This is about memory. Cigar flavors are
Mm-hmm.
about food, as in, you get a hints of taste from the food what you know, but there are tastes in the cigar which you don't know. For example, a
Mm-hmm.
gentleman who is grew up in France, let's say, I'm just giving an example.
Right.
They probably don't know what is the taste of bitter gourd.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very tropical, different kind of vegetable. Now, if you get a hint of that vegetable in the garden, a French guy is not able to explain it to people that this is the taste I'm getting. Why?
Ah,
Because
okay.
his palate does not have the memory.
Right.
If I did not try, if I did not try coffee in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm smoking a cigar which has a hints of coffee, I'm not able to put it in single words, because I don't know the taste of the coffee. I don't know the aroma of the coffee. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how the texture of the coffee in my palate. So you often connect with the experiences what you already have from the flavors and the aroma what you get from the cigar. So it is related to food. So developing your palate is all about tasting variety of cigars, different pattern of cigars,
Mm-hmm.
different sizes of cigars, and then you develop your palate. You understand the spice as in sweet pepper, the spice as in white pepper,
Pepper.
or the
Okay.
spice as in peppery pepper. There is a difference between all of these.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about nuttiness, is the nuttiness is coming from this kind of nut, that kind of nut, or is it nutty in general? Velvety. What kind of velvety feeling it is? Is it acidic velvet? As in, you take a gulp of smoke, what you get is
Mm-hmm.
a creaminess of velvet, or
Right.
acidic creaminess, because your saliva can grow if you have
Mm-hmm.
an acidic cigar. It depends on the minerality of the cigar. So this kind of specific detail is all about trying different variety of cigars and trying to connect, and often write down if you would love to. If you want to go to the next spectrum, I
Yes.
request my newbie to write it down, because you have a limitation sometimes on the memory.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when you smoke a cigar, you get a particular note and you think that tomorrow you're going to remember it, but maybe you don't. Only the strong ones remember in your mind, and the weak ones will go. But the weak ones
Yes.
tomorrow, if you smoke the same cigar 10 years, 5 years, 2 years later, probably the weak ones will develop more. So you
Right.
wanted to feel it. You write down. So developing a
Mm.
palate is an art. And
Mm.
I have said this out loud, and many people don't like it, but I'm going to say it anyway,
Yeah.
because that's a true story.
Yeah.
We all are not the same,
Yes.
okay? We all have different palate. I may be born with 5 million taste buds. You might have been born with 10 million.
Right.
So the number of taste buds in each body, in each human, is different than the others. What does that mean? So when I take a gulp of smoke, I get more or I get less
Hmm.
comparing to the other person. So I cannot compare my experience with yours. I can only share, this is what I get. But maybe the other person get more or less. And that isn't the case of everything in life.
Right.
Your organoleptic qualities and the palate and understanding of fragrance.
Hmm.
Many people, they don't understand certain kind of notes on the fragrance
Right.
because they don't have the captivity of understanding the fragrance. Whereas some others, oh, Jasim, you're wearing Memo French leather. I'm like, oh my
Mm.
God. I mean, how do you know that?
Right.
And then for others, it's like, it's something with a tobacco base, huh? You're
Mm.
wearing a perfume which has a tobacco base. Okay, that's the maximum they can reach there. It does not
Yes.
mean they don't have the ability, but then that's the best they could do because they don't have the captivity to it. So for me, developing a palate is starting slow, light bodied, develop slowly, go further, light to medium bodied, and then you go further, medium to full, and full. You don't do
Hmm.
that very fast, and you don't do that straight away from the strong ones. I
Yes.
often have customers sometimes and say, "Oh, what is the most expensive cigar you have?" The most
Mm.
expensive cigar is not what you should smoke. Sometimes it's light, sometimes it's stronger. You should be asking a question differently. What is the right cigar as a beginner for me to smoke? And that could be expensive, that could be less expensive,
Hmm.
but the word expensive does not mean for a newbie, unless you are
Yes.
a collector, a guy who collects cigars and just share it. That's a different story. But in general, you should start with a light bodied cigar. I often recommend people to smoke Hoy de Monterey, Epicure
Hmm.
number 2, if you like to feel it that way, because guys, when they're young,
Yes.
they
No.
wanted to feel a cigar in
Cigar.
their hand.
Yes.
I want to see a Robusto in my hand. If I give a Polaraniaga Monte Carlo, they're like, no, man, this is too thin for my hand. I don't feel like a man.
So it
So
it's
there is
in,
also a size part.
yes,
So size matters. Size matters
size matters.
sometimes. Yeah,
Absolutely. And I think exactly as you're doing now, size matters in terms of the burn as well. So how much attention she
yeah.
needs.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I mean, this is more than the size. It's
Yeah.
about she get upset. It's jealousy.
Yes, absolutely. Complete and utter jealousy. But that's it. She needs the attention. So what are good?
Absolutely.
I think sort of, if I recall correctly, from the 90s, the ring, when cigars picked up again in popularity, the ring gauges started to increase. And then, as you said, now they're looking at smaller ring gauges. Do you think that's because people's taste and understanding of cigars has evolved as well, where it's more about the cigar than the show of having the cigar?
It's like fashion.
Mm.
In 90s, I call it a robusto war, a
Yes.
revolutionary time. You
Hmm.
know, I give the blame to Arnold Schwarzenegger. He comes with
Yeah.
Terminator, and then
Yeah.
he have this robusto, and the robusto become very popular. And before 90s, the robusto wasn't a popular
Mm.
vitola or a format because Robusto was made at the time. Robusto was in production. A Partagas Seri number 4 was in
Or
production
yep.
since 70s,
Mm.
and it was not picked up by any consumer or cigar lover in terms of, oh, I'm going to smoke a Robusto. No, everybody was smoking a launch day. Everybody was
Hmm.
smoking something like a thin, longer, very elegant cigar, different.
Yes.
A double Corona was still there, and people were smoking it, but not Robusto. not as much as today. Today, the most selling cigar is a bigger in size Robusto format for the Cuban cigar business
Mm-hmm.
perspective. Now, of course, American world is different. Non-Cuban world is different. You have so many brands there, which you have a lot of big ring sizes. You have 6x60, 7x70, and all these
Seven, yeah.
cigars. So, all yeah, it's crazy, but
Yeah.
there is a consumer for it.
Yep.
Not me for sure, but there are consumers for it in American world. I'm not going to say that good or bad, but
Yeah.
it's what they like. It's very personal. It sells. So
Yes.
the Robusto started in 90s, and then it was a trend that every cigar become bigger and
Mm-hmm.
stouter and richer, and and also if you look into the cigar as a pattern, you tend to enjoy more. The cigar tends to cool down faster because
Mm-hmm.
with a thin cigar you have to pay attention.
Yes.
If you don't puff, it goes off.
Mm-hmm.
If you puff too fast, the cigar gets harsh taste. If you are trying to light a cigar without the right way of lighting, the
Mm-hmm.
cigar completely gets changed.
Yes.
A big ring size cigar, it stays with you. If even if you are not paying enough attention, as in for a Lancero or a Deliciosos, you have a room of a little bit more time with it,
Mm-hmm.
because the big ring size, the big circumference helps the cigar to consistently burn, and
Right.
also it gives a lot of cooling effect on your palate. So
Okay.
you can take the error method. You can puff
Mm-hmm.
faster, on a
She's
degree
more
of
forgiving.
fairness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's more adaptable.
Yeah.
So this is fine, refined lady, right? So
Yep.
it's elegant. So you have to give that attention to the thin
Yeah.
ring size cigar. So what happening today is, like in fashion, the older things coming back in
Mm-hmm.
different level, different strength, different blend. So it started to come back, and when people started to realize, oh, that cigar is long and thin, it's different than what I have been smoking,
Right.
and it looks different, and people likes differences.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they choose the Robusto in the first place back in the time? Because they like differences from the thin ring size cigars, and they did not
Ah,
know many
okay.
things about, oh, this is going to be cooler, or this is
Mm-hmm.
going to be manly. No, they were different. It was different, and everybody loved differences, and I want to be unique.
Mm-hmm.
So today it's changing, because everything what you see is a Montesco, Geniales, Robusto, big size
Mm-hmm.
cigars. You find a Lancero, you're different. Of course, there is a
Mm.
room of people say, it's a girly cigar, man. Why are you smoking a girly cigar? It took some time for people to understand. Lancero is not girly or manly or
Mm.
whatever. Lancero is a Lancero. It's a
Yeah.
Fidel Castro's favorite and invention. I would call it that. It's a revolutionary cigar again.
Right.
Lancero is something that is created for Fidel, by Fidel in a way. So it has a speciality. It's nothing to do about girliness there. The stereotypes say girly, whatever it is. But today, the same guy who said that 5 years ago, they are searching for Lancero.
They're searching for the
So it's like
Lanceros. Yeah.
fashion. And
Yeah.
it's very difficult to find. So that's another story to it.
That's and the harder it is to find, the more people want it, because sometimes there's that element of fashion and show that they have it, and then
Oh,
they'll come out with that cigar that's rare and hard to find, and end up gifting it to someone to smoke.
imagine, I mean,
Yeah.
look at Michael Jordan.
Mm.
Look at Michael Jordan. He have this double Corona
Mm-hmm.
in his mouth all the time when he
Yes.
was playing, and even now. So there is an elegance to it. He cannot smoke a Petit Robusto. He
Yes.
can.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the time, but winning a game, you gotta smoke a double Corona. Come on,
Yeah.
you gotta smoke a double Corona. Hey, a nice Partagás Lusitania, a Hoydemone double Corona, a Cohiba Splendido.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cigar. It's a celebration. It's big. It's a celebration. It's festivity. So there is a fashion, there is an occasion,
Mm-hmm.
there is memory to it. So, and you need to give the time. Whenever smoke a Lancero, you have to be so dedicated, given the time, and
Mm-hmm.
not too much wind,
Yes.
not too cold. You have to enjoy the aroma of come from the cigar, the puff, each puff you take. And if you have a great company, a conversation, a perfect beverage, it all complements more and more and more. But in
Yes.
general, it is a beautiful thing that a thinner ring size cigar is more refined. So you got to give your time, a little bit of effort in enjoying it.
Hmm.
And I believe that there are many Lanceros are coming back. I was just talking yesterday to somebody, and then there is a new original edition for Germany. Is a Bolivar, and it's known as Grandes, and
Hmm.
that is a Lancero. You know,
Sure.
imagine it's a brand new cigar, and it's a Lancero. So people tend to go back, and they're working on it. And
Right.
this is one of the most difficult cigar to make.
Hmm.
People often think the big cigar
Mm.
is difficult to make. No, it's the contrary, because if you change a little bit of Ligero and Seco in it, this cigar is not smokable.
Right.
So I was talking to Jose Blanco.
Hmm.
Now he is with Arturo Fuente. He is the man with Carlito Fuente, and he was mentioning that the most difficult format to blend is the Lancero, because if you increase a little bit on Ligero or Seco
Hmm.
or Volado or even wrapper, if you don't choose the right product,
Hmm.
the cigar is unsmokable. It become too powerful.
Mm.
It become too fast burning. It become light sometimes. So it is complex. And when you have that kind of utmost care in making this, and you enjoy it, you can take your time,
Yes.
relax, and smoke slowly. Give attention.
Give attention. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, because I think it is a misconception you were mentioning earlier when you were modeling and your view on tobacco, primarily cigarettes. People don't understand the construction of cigars, and I would say the health benefits of cigars over cigarettes. For me, I think smoking a cigar is far healthier for one's long-term well-being in terms of mental health, stress release, and if you're picking a lifestyle where you're taking time for yourself, your general health will be far better. So can you talk us through that in terms of the construction and really the difference between the two with cigarettes and cigars?
Yes, thank you for bringing back that element, because
Mm.
the society where I was living in at the time, it was
Mm.
different. And it's a common thing. Tobacco is bad.
Yeah.
Whatever means it is, whatever format, whatever way they produce it, is bad. It's bad for you. And that is a common misconception about cigars in general. Now, when you don't know much information, when you are not educated, when you are
Hmm.
illiterate on a particular subject, people do these mistakes by believing it, by not researching more,
Hmm.
by not trying to learn more, not trying to talk to people who knew things, limiting themselves to the common belief. So when you talk about cigarette, and when you compare cigarette to a cigar, to start with, the cigar fermentation is something which is very unique.
Hmm.
You don't add any added body in the fermentation process. It's purely humidity, water, and the time.
Hmm.
These are the two main constraints of fermentation. By cleansing the tobacco to this utmost level, by eliminating the impurities in the tobacco, by time and by the process. It's a proper production cycle before it reaches your hand. It takes 2 years minimum
Right.
before it reaches to your hand, and more. Cigars often comes 4, 10,
Hmm.
15 years of production. Some of the brands from non-Cuban world, it can reach to 10 years before it reaches the shelf. Cuban cigars like Reserva and Grand Reserva is 3 to 5 years extra aged. Limited edition is 2 years extra aged. So there is aging comes in, fermentation comes in. All these elements make the cigar refined by eliminating the toxic nature of certain minerals.
Right.
Some things we need, for example, nicotine.
Hmm.
It's a part of the cigar. And if you want to talk about nicotine as a bad thing for health, I want to talk about sugar.
Yeah.
I want to talk
Exactly.
about things which is crazy. I want to talk
Mm.
about things which is completely different. I want to talk about many other things. I don't want it
Mm.
to
Mm.
open a subject which is not relevant, but in cigars, it is super, super, super
Mm.
healthy when you have this meditation,
Yes.
You don't smoke 10 cigars a day. And I also did a video on this, my YouTube.
And
Is cigars
unless
healthy?
you're the late comedian George Burns, I think he said he smoked
Mm.
between 9 and 12 a day, and he lived into his hundreds. So there's an
Where is the,
example.
yeah. And where is your doctor? He passed away,
With
right?
yeah, he died exactly. Not a cigar smoker,
True
but
story.
yeah, but and it is such a valid point. People will bemoan tobacco and cigars, but they don't worry about sugar or alcohol abuse or these other things that are far, far more damaging. And rather have a cigar than eat a piece of cake or eat a chocolate. It's better for you in the long term and better for your mental
Completely.
health,
Completely.
your heart, your
Completely.
soul.
Cigars does not,
Mm,
cigars does not make you fat.
yeah.
It doesn't give you a problem in your liver. And
Yes.
it actually relaxes you if chosen wisely on the right time. You don't choose
Yes.
a powerful Nicaraguan super strong cigar
Mm,
before you go to bed, because that can give you palpitation, because that the
yes.
purpose of that cigar is not to go sleep. The
Yeah.
purpose of that cigar is to enjoy, is
Hmm.
to really feel the energy in that cigar. So there are cigars for different times, different occasions. It relaxes your mind and body, and it gives you the utmost stress relief feel, and that makes you do things better. So
Yes.
I had this wonderful conversation about gym and cigars, and you are the right
Hmm.
person to talk about it.
Mm.
And what would you smoke after the gym, you know, or before the gym in that matter? What
Mm.
would you smoke? Is it going to affect your performance level in the gym? So this is a very interesting topic, and I told them that when you are in the gym for an hour, 1.5 hours, let's say, and you have a constant body to body, you're sweating, you're
Hmm.
completely helping the muscles to stretch and also to develop, and also making the muscle stress indirectly. If
Yes.
you push and pull, you're stressing the muscle, making the muscle elastic and
Hmm.
developing it. Now, once you finish all this, you give your right protein, whatever protein you go into. It could be as in food, it could be a
Mm.
beverage, whatever the protein what you are into. You finish your protein meal,
Hmm.
and then you take your wonderful cigar and you relax. That relaxes your body and mind for that 2 hours you enjoy in the gym, and you deserve it. Imagine you coming from the gym,
Yes.
you work out for 2 hours, and then your muscle is stressed and whatever. You eat a chunk of cake
Mm.
made with frosted whatever, and then
Yeah.
a lot of
Processed.
crazy chocolate and
Yeah.
processed things. And what's going to happen to your body?
Mm.
Imagine the insulin level of your body. Imagine how it's going to affect your muscle strength. There are so many things. I'm not talk about scientific
Hmm.
part of this. However, the effect on tobacco, cigars, the refined cigars, because this is a very
Hmm.
very interesting topic. There are so many cigar manufacturers which they are not looking at a lot of details in it. They're simply producing and throwing in the market. I'm not talking about them. I'm
Right.
talking about the brands who are reputed. They have a legacy, they have a family, they have a big reputation from years of production. They do a lot of hard work in creating this product to the utmost perfection. And when you have that cigar and you smoke it on time,
Hmm.
perfectly in the right way of smoking it, that makes you feel relaxed and stress relief and really enjoyable rather than anything else in life. You know,
Right.
that's the time you give. You sit back, you come to your man cave or your balcony, you smoke that
Yep.
cigar, relax a little bit. Oh my God. There is nothing like that. There is nothing you can, there is no other product. You're going to read a book after the gym? No. So
Yep.
you have to smoke a cigar, you know.
Absolutely. And
It's the misconception by people by cigarette and cigars, unfortunately.
yeah, and there are two totally different products. I mean, in terms of what they are, it's comparing two totally different things. I think the there was a study done several years ago that showed the single greatest contributor to longevity, to living a long life and a long life of quality, was human connection. When people lose connection, when they lose community, when they lose the ability to, or the opportunities to spend time together, that's when we die sooner. So cigars, it's a community, it's a culture, and it's a way to live much, much longer.
You know how many things we learn. The beauty of
Mm.
the cigar is that normally you meet different kind of people, different
Yes.
industry often.
Hmm.
Yesterday I was sitting with a couple of my friends who are in the real estate, and I'm not into real estate. I have no idea what's going on. And then they were talking about many details which I never knew about Dubai, which I never knew about rest of the world. The
Right.
legal side of it, the right things to do, the wrong things to do, etc., etc. As an investor, as a resident, as a citizen, you have to know this because these are the
Right.
things that you may make a mistake. And these kind of mistakes, it can lead you to a financial crisis later if you don't do the investment right. An
Hmm.
example. So every time when we meet people around the cigar, sometimes there are topics which we will never come across. I will never meet people in my life if it is not for cigars and the
Hmm.
paths that we met. Look at you. I will never have, if I don't smoke cigars and if I don't develop the culture and enhances this communication of the cigar community to the rest of the world, I will never be able to cross our path. It's one in a million chance that I'll come to South Africa or you come
Yes.
to Dubai, and then if you're able to meet for a cigar or for a, it's a great pairing on this. It's the people who I met over the cigar journey. It's so vibrant and versatile. I would never imagine, the kind
Hmm.
of people that I met, and then the informations I receive, and the good times we had, quality and memorable times we had in the conversation, and the things what I learned from them.
Right.
It is insane, and Cigar has this power of making people united, and the gatherings, the community, the society, the events that makes the people unite in
Hmm.
spite of everything else, in spite of their busy schedule, in spite of the workload, in spite of many other aspects in life, and they come for a cigar, they spend quality time, and they leave. And then
Yes.
that's the friendship and gathering we look into cigars. And that is completely different than anything else in life. There is no cigarette community, I call it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is no community for cigarettes you smoke every day. It's like, oh, cigarette lounge.
Yeah, absolutely. A cigarette lounge, absolutely. I think one thing I also wanted to touch on is your incredible style and your dress sense. Where does this come from? Because you commit to how you present yourself to the world and how you put yourself out. And my grandfather always taught me, and my father as well, through his dress sense, that dressing well is a sign of respect for those you are going to meet.
It is beautiful that you mentioned this subject. So
Mm.
my dressing comes from uh, the cigar which I choose.
Mm-hmm.
My dressing comes from the nature, the colors of nature. My dressing sense comes from the cigar bands.
Yes.
And I started to dress in my mind, uh, you know, way too long than I'm picking a jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I have to go out on a particular time or if I have to go have a meeting, I decide on the cigars I smoke, I decide on the meeting I think about, and then the dressing comes from all these elements.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm wearing green for this purpose. I'm wearing red for this purpose. When I often smoke a Cohiba cigar, I try to put a black or an amarillo, a kind of yellowish color,
Mm-hmm.
or something goldish, because that connects me with the cigar and that helps
Yes.
me to enjoy better. I would say confidence in that level,
Mm-hmm.
because dressing makes men, women confident. That's the
Yes.
first and the foremost thing. So when you wear a jacket, $1 million jacket, you feel $1 million way. And if you're not comfortable in it, you're not good in your conversation either, because you
Yes.
often have a problem. You're completely in a you're not comfortable. You're
Right.
not you have a discomfort all the time, and then you tend to move. You're not talking. You don't want attention. You know sometimes it happens. Sometimes I'm looking at my jacket. You know, when you are in a busy schedule, that you pull a jacket and you wear it, and everything is clean and everything. Sometimes I think,
Mm.
oh my God, I use a wrong cufflinks today. In two
Yep.
of my cufflinks, two different cufflinks. You know, I'm like, oh my God, and
It,
my comfort level goes in.
yep.
And one day I was going out. I was outside. I did not know, and
Hmm.
I'm smoking with great confidence and talking to people and everything else. And my girlfriend, she told me, she did not tell me. She told my best friend and said,
Yeah.
"You see this guy? You know, did you notice anything different in him?" And he started to look into. Yeah, I noticed. He don't notice. He is even confident in that wrong cufflink. Then I'm looking at my cufflink. I'm like, oh my God, one is red, one is blue. Then I'm like, no, 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 wait a minute, guys, I
Yeah.
can't. So I moved my thing.
Pull the
I started
sleeves
to
down.
become
Yeah.
discomfort. So I believe that the fashion sense,
Mm.
jokes apart, the fashion sense for me is about nature,
Yes.
and I like colors, and I like cigar bands. I
Hmm.
like the art behind the cigar boxes. I
Yes.
like the people who put a lot of hard work in creating a cigar with a lot of details in its perfection. When it comes to the color of the wrapper, you know, when you talk about colors in a cigar, you have 66 different colors of wrapper, and
Wow.
for me, that is insane. You know, I cannot see certain cigars with a certain color. Imagine a Cohiba Behique. I
Yes.
cannot imagine a Behique with a Maduro wrapper
Right.
because I picture it with a claro, goldish, beautiful wrapper. And it has a feel on it. Of course, it has an effect on the blend
Hmm.
also. And when you smoke that cigar and when you dress up for that cigar, I wanted to feel the Behique, you know.
Right.
I cannot I cannot be casual, and going to the beach style and smoke a Behique. The Behique has to be smoked with utmost elegance and utmost richness. Richness in the sense not about putting your Louis Vuitton and stuff, but
Hmm.
about the way you feel about it.
Yes.
And the color sense comes from this, and that's why I like old fashioned. I like this 1920s vibe,
Hmm.
wearing a Panama hat. A gentleman always wear a hat at the time. Today is difficult to wear the hat, especially in different weather conditions, like in
Yes.
UAE. I cannot wear a lot of felt hats, like
Hmm.
in fedora with rabbit felt and so on. I only often wear that in the evenings. In the day is always a Panama. Always have to be something airy, light, because there is not
Hmm.
just thing as a hat. It's also about the structure,
Yes.
the layering, there are so many details goes in it. Imagine I am coming for an interview with you with a winter felt fedora hat. That is not me in Dubai. I
Mm-hmm.
can sit
Hmm.
it in I can sit in Europe at the moment because today is the first day of spring or something like this. I can
Right.
sit in Europe and do that, but in Dubai with a 28, 30 degree, it's not the right thing to do.
Not the right
There
thing
is
to do.
details in it.
Mm. That's it.
So I love fashion from old school, like Lancero,
Hmm. Like Lancero, I think that it's
like
that
Lancero.
that also represents the values from the old school, which being a
Yes.
gentleman, being civil, chivalry, all of these things that we have that enhance the quality of our lives and the quality of the lives of those around us.
I often said this. Men used to dress better back in the time.
Yes.
You know, Today is different. It's a shame, but many young guys they don't take it into that level. The fashion today is different. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna say that that's bad or good, but in general, men used to dress well.
Yes.
Even if you don't have $1 in your pocket, they make sure when they go out, they wear a jacket,
Hmm.
they wear a hat, they have a dressing style, they wear a tie, they have a shirt with a cuff. They probably have only two shirts, but then they make sure it's clean, pressed,
Yes.
washed, crisp, pressed, with a wonderful cufflink. And then that's the way back in the time we were. And
Yes.
today it's different. Now you have a hole here, and I'm sorry, but why there is a hole here, right?
You
I don't
look.
know. I was there too, huh?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was there too. I wore it. I
Mm.
educated myself. So because you follow, like I follow cigarettes and cigars, everything is bad for
Yeah.
tobacco. Same way,
Yes.
it was a thing that people follow, and sometimes it's illiteracy, sometimes lack of knowledge.
Mm.
And I believe that everyone, in my opinion, should dress very well, especially when you smoke a cigar,
Hmm.
without thinking twice. There is no such thing as overdressed. No, it does not
Absolutely.
exist.
Absolutely. My grandfather always taught me, be the smartest man in the room, but never be the smartest man in the room. So always be the best dressed, but surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And it's been a wonderful way to live. Just to share something
Absolutely.
with you, with the gym, I spent 10 years in a t-shirt and shorts because that was what was practical for me to work in. And at the beginning of 2022, I lost my dad, and I went
Oh,
back.
sorry.
Thank you. Um, I went back to putting my suits on because I spent 15 years in financial services and wearing three-piece suits. And putting these suits back on gave me 15 or 20 minutes every morning just for myself, to connect to myself, to choose the suit, choose the shirt, the tie, the socks, the shoes, and the hat. And that was and the cologne, the scent as well. And I said, that's how I'm going to dress. And I might spend 4 minutes changing pocket squares. And that was wonderful time with myself. You know? So
I agree. I agree.
because that's it. Once you
You know,
then it's the pocket squares that become the challenge. I used to reverse that. I'd start with the pocket square and build the outfit around that.
we think alike, right? And
Yeah.
most of the cigar lovers think alike. And people who are in liking the colors and the fashion and so on, they all think alike. You know, there is this thing I noticed, and I created a new Instagram now known as Jasim Lifestyle. The
Right.
reason is tobacco. When promoting tobacco too much,
Hmm.
sometimes you can get challenges from Instagram,
Yes.
because Instagram can hold you back and shadow ban you for so many things. Anyway, so I
Mm.
just created a backup as a Jasim Lifestyle in order to educate more on fashion and colors. It's still with cigars, but not
Yes.
too much focus on cigars. There will be always a cigar in it. So I noticed it over the time. My friends and the people now that I'm changing them. My friend changing the way they dress.
Hmm.
Okay, so as my best friends, I have to teach them. So this is what I noticed: a man wearing a Patek Philippe,
Yes.
uh, driven a wonderful Rolls Royce or a
Hmm.
Bentley, a Ferrari at times, and wearing a beautiful pair of wonderful shoes. All the attire is made
Hmm.
from so and so brands, bespoke, custom made brands from Italian designers, tie from Marinella,
Hmm.
and then pocket square from I don't know what, and the glasses from Jacques Marie Mage. And then you wear a hat, which is
Mm.
$2 hat, which is bought in one souvenir shop in Seychelles,
Yes.
or in Cuba or Nigeria. I don't know,
Yeah.
Dominican Republic. $2, $2,
Yes.
and you have all of these things, and then the bigger part of your body is your face.
Yeah.
That's the part that you see, right? Because that's where you communicate. That's where you look. That's where
Hmm.
you eye contact.
Yes.
And the first thing comes is your head, and you have a $2 hat which looks like $2. I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about what it is made of and what is the
Yes.
occasion. And I asked him, Hermanito, why?
Mm.
Why? Tell me one good reason. Is it money? Is it, if you don't have money, no problem. Don't wear the hat. It's
Yeah.
fine. You know, or wear something different. And they're like, I did not know, Jason. I thought that every hat is the same.
Hmm.
But they know about watches. They know about
Yes.
watches. They know about cars. They know about shoes. But they did not put enough attention on the hat. So it's the same way for the people who are dressing up in terms
Hmm.
of pocket square, in terms of a tie, in terms of a flower. It's all
Hmm.
about how much you educate yourself, and how much time you give it to yourself. Like you said, you
Yes.
take a good 20 minutes every day, changing 4 minutes to wear a pocket square.
Yep.
That shows your passion in it.
Yes.
That's not just simply dressing up and showing off. It's about you being seen in public with respect. I dress up not for me alone. I do it for me, of course, but then I respect you.
Mm-hmm.
Having a meeting, having a connection with you. My dressing is also to respect you, my
Yes.
time with you, my quality time with you. And today, I give a simple example to everybody. Today, everything is Instagrammable. So you make
Yes.
sure you go good looking outside. We never know. We
Absolutely.
never know. So, so you make sure you are in your picture perfect look every day, every
Every
night.
day.
So exactly, exactly. So it's important for the youngsters to understand this. Dress up, man. Dress up, my girls. Dress up.
Yeah.
That's where we live in. This is important. It shows your personality, shows your confidence, shows your elegance, shows your culture, your education.
Your
What's your thoughts
willingness
on
to
life?
invest. Yes. So, and your willingness to invest in yourself.
Uh, Absolutely. We all are investing in ourselves.
Yeah.
That will be education. Why would we go and study in a university? Because we wanna change our ways, and we wanna develop. And so does in dressing. So does in everything else in life. Why
Yes.
do we every other year, every 2 years, every 3 years? Why do we change our cars? We develop, we enhance. Changing mobiles. We always want enhancement. We always want develop things. And so does dressing. You
Yes.
can still wear 1920s dress with
Mm-hmm.
a nice style, with nice colors. You don't have to. I never throw away my jackets, because often when you are one of those guys that you are with the trend of the style, then,
Yes.
oh, today is peak level, tomorrow is not a peak level,
Mm-hmm.
and day after is another kind of shoes. If you are going classic with the
Yes.
color sense and what suits and fits you, you stay with
Classic and forever.
it forever. you know
Absolutely.
and you don't have to throw nothing, and then you have so many variety to choose from. It's a wonderful journey on style as well. And Cigar
Absolutely.
has a great connection with fashion and style.
Yes.
There is a cigar. The name is Fonseca, uh, one of the oldest cigar brand again, like Porla and Yaga. This gentleman who created Fonseca at the time, he was a guy who liked to dress up. He wear a papillon, a proper
Okay.
papillon,
Sure.
with a nice tux, beautiful jacket, a three-piece jacket, nice beard, well groomed.
Mm-hmm.
And when he created the cigar, he put a dress on the cigar. He went to
Wow.
that much of detail. He put a dress on the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a cigar comes with a wax paper on the cigar, and on top of it you have a cigar band. So you
Okay.
remove the wax
Sure.
paper, and then you smoke it. So he thought that much, even putting it on the cigar. You know, look at the new cigar from Bolivar. It is released last year in festival. It's known as the Bolivar New Gold Medal. This cigar, only a part of the cigar goes as the cigar color, the wrapper
Right.
color. The rest of it is a gold wrapper. It's you remove it. It's not that you smoke it like in I see some cigars in Europe. You have a golden cigar which you smoke the gold. No. I'm not talking
Okay.
about that.
Yep.
Because you remove it. Okay? Not
Right.
edible gold.
Yes.
That is a sales. That's a sales drama. But
Right.
then this is a gold paper on it. It's a good feel, and then you remove it when you smoke it, and that
That's
shows
fantastic.
how much you dress up on a cigar. So cigar has a fashion element. Cigar has colors. Cigar has the memory connected with colors. Can you imagine a behique without the squares? Can you imagine a behique without that color yellow?
Sure.
I don't even call it yellow. It's like an amarillo color. So the colors have power. Hermes, you know, what the
Yes.
color. The
That's
moment
yeah.
you see Hermes, you have a collar. So that goes with fashion. You can actually represent yourself very well, being who you are, and showing your unique style. And I believe in it, and I believe that cigars help me to do it. So I give that back to Cigars.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Yasim, I think we're running out of time a little bit on our side. We've got some clients that are coming to the gym and they're going to start making a noise. But I've had the most wonderful time chatting to you. And we're incredibly grateful for the time that you've given us. We know you've had a very busy day and for what you've shared. And I cannot wait to get this content out. It'll be out in the next few days. But is there anything that you would sort of like to finish the conversation on, just to add?
Thank you so much for once again for spending your quality time with me, and I enjoyed every piece of information we shared together. And I love your questions, and I love this community of sharing experiences and developing our culture and cigar lifestyle. And for our viewers, I would like to say that, don't be the stereotype when it comes to cigars. You can always learn many things about cigars. Cigars are an ocean of discovery. It has been hundreds and thousands of years this particular tobacco has been in the world. It's been told since 10,000 BC there was tobacco on Earth, but then it's become popular since 1492. So don't be scared and afraid to enter to the cigar lifestyle. Once you are in, we guys are here. We're going to help you to develop your palate, to choose the right cigar, to go with the right style and the pairings, and be a gentleman and a lady. I wanted to, and a lady, of course. And I really wanted to thank all of you guys for watching us, sharing your time to listening to us as well. And big hug and salute from Dubai.
Oh, fantastic. Jasim. Thank you so much, Jasim. I'm going to end the recording and then I'll chat to you just after that. You give me one moment.